every so often I have realizations that make me believe that I actually made a real realization. I've actually made progress towards my mindset, towards the way I want to live my life and the way I want to act moving forward. And that recently happened to me literally about 20 minutes ago. And it's about love. Specifically about the way we love other people. And I realized, in part thanks to my good friend Matt, who I haven't talked to in a while, but I saw his Instagram story and I was like, whoa, he's saying some good stuff. And I really, really wanted to share it because it made me think, and I think I can add on to it. So he was talking about a jellyfish, and that imagine you were a little kid and you got a pet jellyfish, and you gave this jellyfish a nice tank to live in, and you would bring it food, and you would give it a blanket to sleep in. It's like, I don't know, this is a story, or I don't know. But let's say you love this jellyfish with all your might, and then your jellyfish dies. And how does you, as a child, or as a human, because I'd probably be sad too if I was a human and my jellyfish died. If I was an adult, sorry. Did I just say human? Let's say your jellyfish died. And you don't understand why it would die, because you gave it all so much love and you were always there for it. You gave it everything you possibly could, so how could it die? How could it leave you like that? You might even resent this jellyfish a little bit for leaving. Does that not kind of sound how our human romantic relationships are? And what I realize is that when you have a jellyfish and you love it in a certain way, it might not be receptive of that love. It might not want your love. The jellyfish might not want your love. And I'll stop with the metaphor now. Let's say you have a partner. The way you think that they want to be loved might not be right for them. The way I want to love people might not be right for them. I realize that when I want to be friends with someone, or if I love someone romantically, I put them in a box, or I have these stupid rules. You can't do this, you can't do that, I'm not okay with that, I'm not okay with this. Don't talk like that, don't act like that. Listen to this, don't listen to that music. Do yoga with me, don't do that. These rules and my suggestions, because truthfully it does come from a place of love and a place of wanting to help, but that's not love. And I get this might be my personal flaw. I don't know if it's the way for everyone, but it's my personal flaw, because by me wanting to love someone in a certain way, I realize that it has been controlling. It's been me wanting to shape someone and mold them into a version that I would love more. But with real love, it's not unwavering. The sun's love, if you want to call it love, let's just say the sun's light, it doesn't choose to just go on me because I'm special. It's going on everything. It's going on the grass behind me, the trees, the houses. It's going on me. This phone hopefully doesn't overheat, actually, because if it overheats, it's not going to record. But the sun's light is not unwavering. And if you believe in God, God's love is not unwavering. God does not choose who he loves. God does not love someone more because they're like this. God just loves equally. And this isn't a message of loving everyone equally regardless of everything, because we're not God. But this is a message of when you do love someone, or when you want to love someone, or you have a jellyfish. When you have a jellyfish, don't put them in a box. You need to give them space to be. You need to give them space to breathe. You need to give them space to be on their own, to be their own human that's individual. It's separate from you. And you need to love them with their flaws and with their human flaws. There's personality flaws and there's human flaws that are just like programmed into us. And you have to love regardless of those, because especially those. You can't control that. That's in your DNA. Some things are flawed in our DNA, and you can't not love someone because of that. You can't. If you do put someone in a box, the second that they climb out of that box, or they try to, you're not going to love them anymore. And that's not real love. Real love doesn't turn off with the snap of a finger. Real love doesn't disappear. Real love doesn't decide when it wants to love. It just loves. That's the only way moving forward that I can actually love. Because if I don't adopt this mindset of actually stopping trying to control people and put them in a box and make them act a certain way instead of just loving them for how they are, I'm never going to be content. I'm never going to be happy. There's always going to be something wrong. There's always going to be something wrong, and I'm always going to get hurt. I don't want to live a life of hurt, and no one can blame anyone for that. Nobody wants to feel hurt. Nobody wants to be hurt. And the weight I felt drop off my shoulders when I realized I'm free. There's no need to control anything. There's nothing to make mine. There's nothing to categorize. There's nothing to, hey, don't step out of line. There's none of that. I'm literally free. I just need to worry about myself and love myself how I want to be loved, and then keep my silly little mouth shut when someone does something that I don't like. I mean, now if it's to me, it's a different story. And in a romantic relationship, obviously, there are your personal boundaries, and that's a whole different thing. For example, let's say you are dating a cheater and they cheat on you. Now, you could say, I don't want to put them in a box. They're their own human. They can do what they want. And some people really do live like that, and that's props to them. I probably personally couldn't do that. I know that actually I couldn't, but some people actually can do that, and that's why polyamorous relationships are a thing. That's a personal boundary, though. But if you think that baseball is better than football, and your partner wants to play baseball, you can't not love them for that. My issue has always been that I try to control people. Obviously not with force, and obviously not consciously until I realized, like, whoa, I've been doing this a long time. But that's been my issue, and that's why my love in my life has dissipated, because I see certain things that certain people do, and they act in certain ways, and I don't like it. I don't know why, but my brain wants to put them in a box and tell them how they think they should live. And that's something I noticed with self-help YouTubers that I honestly think I have actually been quite well at not doing, is people love to tell other people how to live. Most self-help books are not good because it's just someone telling you how to live. Live how you want. You have your own morals, your own personal boundaries. Stick to them. But if you go around trying to put people in boxes and trying to tell them how to live and not loving them when they don't act the way that you want them to, you're never going to get anywhere. And you want to know something? I know this for a fact, by the way. By you not wanting to put them in a box, and by you not wanting to control them, but seriously not wanting to, not just saying it in hopes that you can subconsciously reverse psychologically trick them, but actually not wanting to control them, actually wanting them to be on their own, have their own space to breathe, to be their own human being, and love in holding hands, loving each other separately. They'll love you more, and more often than not, those things that you didn't like that they were doing, they're gonna stop. I don't know why it is, but I know that negative reinforcement does not work as well as positive reinforcement. But even bringing it up is negative, because people start feeling like they're getting attacked, that their personal way is not, they think that you're telling them that the way they live their life is not as good as the way you live your life. No one wants to hear that. That's why I don't spend my videos telling you that you need to do this, you need to do that. I literally just speak my mind and suggest to you certain things. I've never once said you should never. I don't think I've ever said that. And if I did, I'm exaggerating. But the things that you don't want them to do, they're gonna stop doing. If someone's doing something that you don't like and you want them to stop doing it, you can psychologically trick them to not do it by giving them less, let's say you have a dog and you want your dog to, that's a bad example. Let's say you have a partner and you don't like when your partner, I'm gonna make something up stupid. You don't like when your partner drinks from green water bottles. So what you would do if you wanted to, when they're drinking from purple water bottles, you give them extra love, extra attention. You say, I love that you drink from purple water bottles. I love that so much about you. That's one of my favorite things about you. I love that you drink from purple water bottles. And every time your partner drinks from a green water bottle, You're not necessarily mean to them. You don't say, ugh, you're disgusting for drinking from green water bottles. Like, why would you do that? Ugh, get away from it. You don't do that. Instead, what you would do is you just give them less attention, less affection. But that's not healthy, man. If you think about it, it's just a freaking water bottle. And the things that we want to control about other people usually aren't that serious. They usually do not fucking matter in the slightest. So why are we trying to control people in the first place? If you think about it, you take a step back and you think about it, that's literally just trying to climb up a mountain, like, and it's just like a 90-degree angle. You can't. And if you do, you're gonna drive yourself crazy. It feels so much better. And I literally was like, holy shit, I'm free. When I realized I don't have to control anyone. The girl that I love, I don't have to control. People in my life, I don't have to control. Not even I don't have to, it's just I don't want to. We're all on our own journey, and no one wants some dickhead coming up to you and telling you like, hey, you shouldn't live your life like this. You should live your life like this. No one wants to hear that. People are gonna learn on their own. And if they hurt you in the process, that doesn't mean you have to sit there and take it. And that's what's unfortunate, because if I was hurt, I don't know if I'd be able to handle it and talk through it and accept that humans are flawed, people are people. Sometimes when we have a partner, we want them to be perfect. We want them to be superhuman and never make mistakes and never do dumb things. How's that fair when clearly I've done dumb things? How can I want someone else to not do dumb things? Obviously there are certain extents to it, and those are your personal limits, but that can be spoken beforehand. Love is scary. Opening yourself up to the idea of heartbreak and opening yourself up to the idea of being vulnerable is very scary. But I think, and this is for whoever needs to hear it, if you've found the person that makes you feel less alone, or not just, but like not physically alone, like, oh, I'm lonely, I want someone, but like, it's the knowledge that you have that, it's like a best friend, really. And you know that they're the person for you. I believe you can work through anything. And it's freaking scary, and I'm scared to get hurt, of course. But if you live your life scared of getting hurt, locked away in your room, you're gonna learn 100 times less than if you were out getting your heart broken over and over. There's some scientific shit with it, with dopamine, and how our brain wants to keep a certain amount of dopamine high to make us feel good. Because when our dopamine is lower, we feel like shit. When our dopamine is low, we feel like shit. When our dopamine is high, we feel great. So sometimes people want to protect their dopamine. So maybe they go out and they're having a great night and they leave early, which I've done. I've gone out and had a great time. I'm socializing with everyone. I'm feeling great, and I leave early because my brain doesn't want something bad to happen in the night, and then I will have lower dopamine. So I can maintain my high dopamine, and then I'll feel good. But usually when you do leave early, that means that you're not connecting with anyone more, or you're not getting things to the next level. Maybe there's a person you met there that you want to get their phone number so you can hang out, and you're not going to do it because you're afraid of the rejection, which would lower your dopamine. So, but that's not a way to live, in my opinion, because we need to take risks. We need to be on this earth and be like, I don't care if I get hurt, or of course you care, but I don't want to let that stop me from achieving great things. I don't want my fear of getting hurt to stop me from building something beautiful. You need to stare it down and be like, I will fight for this because this is worth something. Real love, again, does not turn off with the flick of a switch. Real love doesn't control. Real love doesn't only love someone when they're acting a certain way, in my opinion, at least. Again, if you're Christian, or if you're Muslim, or if you believe in a loving God, think about the way that God loves humans. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think that God cares the color of your skin, your sexuality, your gender, any of that stuff. He just loves you. And I'm not entirely familiar with Jesus' teachings or the teachings of the Bible, but I'm sure that loving everyone equally, regardless of who they are and how they're acting, is a core teaching of Christianity and religion. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But love freely and let people breathe, for fuck's sake. And, oh, I totally forgot to plug my songs. I'm in a band, and we just released a song called You're Next, which is a fun metal song. It's in the description, and you can pre-save Red 40, our next song, which comes out on April 12th. This is also in the description. And how can I translate this to a story of love? I can't, but I love doing it. And I'm really happy to share this. When I used to plug my coaching calls, sometimes I'd feel a little like, because I wasn't proud of the product. I mean, there's only so much you can offer with the coaching calls, which I still love doing, by the way, like meeting people and getting to know them, and they're always so happy, and I'm always so happy to do it. I get in these deep flow states where words just coming out and I feel like a fucking boss. That feels amazing, and that is pretty awesome. But actually plugging my music and knowing that partially, but I made it, and I'm super happy with it. And if I wasn't happy with it, I wouldn't be sharing it here. And I just want to share my creation with the world. And I think that's when you know that you're on the right track. If you like this video, or if you like my videos, or if you just, I don't know, if you're a creative person and you do creative pursuits, sometimes people are like afraid to share. I've been in creative writing classes where people don't want to share their poetry, people don't want to share what's on their mind or anything. And I think that at a certain point you will want to share it because you just love what you've made so much and you just want to put it out there. Partially an ego thing of like, hey, look at me, I did this, but partially also because you just want to like move someone too and make them feel what you're feeling. Now, there's not some deep emotion in these two songs. They're metal, but I'm proud of them and I love them and I loved making them, and I'm not going to stop. So go ahead, give those a listen, bless your ears, and have a beautiful rest of your day.